Imagine a room bathed in studio lights, a live audience hanging on every syllable, and one man's laughter wielding the power to make or break careers. Johnny Carson's Tonight Show wasn't just television. It was an empire where a single misstep could exile even the brightest star forever. With each monologue, each perfectly timed quip, he ruled late-night TV with a blend of warmth and ironclad control. Cross his unwritten boundaries, be it by prank, betrayal, or unapproved chaos, and you risked permanent banishment from the country's most coveted couch. For more than 30 years, everything on Carson's stage was choreographed to perfection. His monologues were honed days in advance, his guest list meticulously curated, and every segment designed to showcase his sovereignty. When an unknown comedian scored a big laugh, that Carson seal of approval could send them skyrocketing from dusty club rooms to sold-out arenas. Yet this same precision meant that unpredictability, unless sanctioned by him, became the quickest route to exile. In 1974, Burt Reynolds swaggered onto The Tonight Show set and, in a moment of pure showmanship, snipped Carson's tie in half. The audience roared as Carson masked surprise with a forced chuckle, then retaliated by ripping part of Burt's shirt and igniting a whipped cream food fight. On camera, it was uproarious fun. Behind the scenes, Carson bristled at the affront to his professional image. Still, their genuine friendship absorbed the stunt, and Reynolds continued to appear, their playful rivalry becoming a beloved chapter in Tonight Show lore. By contrast, the feud with fellow NBC host Tom Snyder simmered in icy silence. Snyder's late-night program followed directly after Carson's, but Carson privately dismissed him as talentless and boring. The tension reached its peak one evening at a Hollywood restaurant, when an inebriated Carson attempted to lunge at Snyder until Ed McMahon restrained him. On air, Carson never once mentioned Snyder's show or sent viewers his way, an unmistakable snub that left Snyder feeling frozen out. No dramatic confrontation was needed. The absence of acknowledgement spoke volumes. Few tales of banishment are as bitter as that of Joan Rivers. Discovered by Carson in 1965, Rivers evolved from a nervous novice to his most trusted understudy and the heir apparent to his throne. When Fox offered her a late-night series of her own, she signed without a word to Carson and learned of the deal through headlines. Feeling stabbed in the back, Carson delivered a terse phone call exile. Joan Rivers never set foot on his couch again, her career forever marked by that rupture, one that remained sealed until Jimmy Fallon's era finally lifted the ban decades later. In 1991, Charles Grodin brought his signature deadpan irritation to The Tonight Show, mocking Carson's memoir as a bad book and complaining about a non-existent card game. The audience tittered, but Carson's carefully cultivated composure cracked. Within seconds, the segment was cut short, and though there was no formal announcement, Grodin's name vanished from future guest lists. That silent erasure conveyed the message with chilling clarity: challenge the host's authority, and your invite is revoked for life. Under Jay Leno's watch, a new generation discovered that Carson's strict standards still cast a long shadow. In 1993, Bobcat Goldthwait strode onto the desk doused in lighter fluid and set his chair ablaze. The stunt forced an abrupt cut to commercials, followed by legal fines and a permanent blacklisting. Though the fire didn't occur under Carson's tenure, it embodied the same intolerance for unchecked chaos, proof that the legend of Tonight Show decorum lived on. Even in Carson's final year on air, one miscalculation could cost you everything. In 1992, Howie Mandel rolled out a massive saber-tooth tiger prop without approval, completely blocking the desk and obscuring the host. Carson, ever the consummate professional, halted the segment and moved to commercial, his displeasure palpable. Mandel later called it a stupid move, and rightly so. The Tonight Show's visual harmony was sacrosanct, and Mandel never returned to reclaim his place on that famous couch. While some bans stemmed from singular incidents, others reflected broader clashes of style. Kathy Griffin's brash, boundary-pushing comedy never found favor in The Tonight Show's mainstream mold. Though she never ignited a specific on-air fiasco, her entire act, loud, unapologetic, often polarizing, ran counter to the polished expectations set by Carson. Over time, invitations dried up. No public rebuke, no dramatic send-off, just the silent closing of a door that Fallon's more relaxed tenure would later reopen. Sometimes, banishment wasn't about personal misdeeds but collateral damage in another man's feud. In the early 1980s, Wayne Newton's off-camera rivalry with Carson, rooted in competing business interests in Las Vegas, breathed down the necks of those close to him. Lola Falana, a magnetic singer and dancer and a friend of Newton's, suddenly found her hometown of Carson's couch indefinitely closed to her. She'd done nothing on air to warrant the snub. She was simply caught in a crossfire that illustrated just how absolute Carson's power could be. Yet even the strictest monarch makes exceptions. Don Rickles, the merchant of venom, turned insult comedy into an art form, roasting Carson mercilessly night after night. On any other stage, that act would have earned him the boot, but on Carson's, it became a cherished ritual. Rickles' fearless barbs were met with uproarious laughter, and their bond of mutual respect allowed Carson to reward honesty, no matter how cutting, with unwavering loyalty. When Carson bid his audience a final, heartfelt goodnight on May 22, 1992, he left behind an unspoken contract between host and guest: respect the throne, and you're welcome. Betray it, and you'll never return. Though he retreated into private life, magic tricks on his yacht, and quiet days in Malibu, his influence looms large. Every late-night host has learned that on that couch, you're playing for keeps. One wrong joke, one secret deal, or one unapproved prop can end your Tonight Show story forever.